You are in the middle of a conversation. Someone asks you something, a favor, a commitment, an extra shift, a plan you never wanted to be part of. And you feel it before the words even arrive. Something tightens, not in your head, in your chest, in your throat, a pressure that moves upward and sits right behind your mouth. You know what you want to say. The word is right there, 2 letters, 1 syllable. No. And then something happens. Something fast and quiet and completely outside your control. Your face softens. Your voice shifts into a warmer register. And the word that comes out is not the one you meant. Sure, of course, no problem at all. You hear yourself say it. You feel yourself smile. And somewhere underneath all of that, a part of you watches it happen like it is watching from behind glass. Silent. A little bit stunned. You are not weak. You are not a pushover. You are not someone who does not know their own mind. You know exactly what you wanted to say. But your body said something different. Your nervous system made a different call. And it did it so fast, so automatically, so completely beneath conscious thought, that by the time your brain caught up, the yes was already out in the world. That is not a character flaw. That is not politeness or people-pleasing or being too nice. That is something much older than any of those words. What happened in that moment has a name, and once you understand it, the way you see yourself is going to change. If you have ever heard yourself say yes and felt something inside you go quiet, this channel is going to explain a lot of things you thought were just you. Subscribe. Every week we go somewhere most people never think to look. Picture this. You are at work. Your manager stops by your desk near the end of the day, asks if you can take on one more thing, a project, a deadline that is already tight. You have too much. You know you have too much. You are going to leave on time for the first time in weeks. Your manager looks at you, just looks at you, waiting. And you say yes, before you have thought about it, before you have calculated whether you can actually do it, before any rational part of your brain has weighed in at all. You say yes, and you mean it sincerely in that moment, and you will stay late, and you will resent it a little, and you will not be able to explain exactly why you could not just say no. Or this, a friend calls, needs a favor, something you genuinely do not have the capacity for right now. Your apartment is chaos. Your mind is stretched. You had plans tonight that were just for you. You hear the ask. You feel yourself about to say you cannot, and then you hear something in their voice, a small shift, a hint of need, and something in you pivots so fast it barely registers as a choice. You say yes. You cancel your own plans. You show up. And the whole time you are there, a quiet voice underneath everything is asking why you cannot seem to stop doing this. These are not small social moments. These are data points. These are your nervous system revealing a pattern that runs much deeper than habit or politeness. In the 1990s, psychologist Pete Walker first described what he called the fawn response. Most people know fight and flight. Some know freeze. But fawn is the fourth stress response, and it is the one that gets the least attention because from the outside it does not look like fear at all. It looks like kindness. It looks like agreeableness. It looks like someone who is just a generous, easygoing, helpful person. But it is fear, dressed in a smile. Walker found this pattern most prominently in people who grew up in environments where expressing needs or disagreement led to consequences. Emotional consequences, social consequences, sometimes physical ones. Their nervous systems learned very early that appeasement was survival, that keeping the peace was safer than speaking the truth, that making other people comfortable was the fastest way to make danger go away. The body learned this, not the mind, the body. And because the body learned it, the body responds before the mind gets a vote. A 2020 study published in the journal Frontiers in Psychology confirmed that people with a history of chronic stress or relational threat show significantly faster and stronger appeasement responses, faster compliance, faster agreement, faster conflict avoidance, even in situations that are objectively safe. The threat is not real, but the response is completely real, and it is completely automatic. Your body is responding to a ghost, a shape it once learned to fear, and it is not waiting for you to check if the danger is still there. Here is what is actually happening inside you in that moment. Your nervous system is always scanning. Always. It is not a conscious process. It happens beneath thought, beneath awareness, beneath language. Neuroscientist Stephen Porges called this neurosption, the body's constant automatic threat detection system. It is reading every room, every face, every shift in someone's tone, every silence that lasts a half second too long. And it has been trained by every interaction you have had since you were small enough that other people's moods were the weather you lived inside. If you grew up in an environment where someone's anger or disappointment had real consequences, where disagreement led to withdrawal or punishment or tension that filled the whole house, your neurospective system learned to read the earliest possible signals. A tightened jaw, a shift in tone, a silence. Before those signals could escalate, your system learned to move, to appease, to smooth, to say yes. That system does not know you are an adult now. It does not know that the person asking you for something is not the person it learned to fear. It does not know that the consequences are different. It only knows the pattern, and it runs the pattern. This is why the yes comes out before you decide to say it. You did not decide. Your amygdala, the part of your brain that processes threat, already processed this as a threat and dispatched its response. Your prefrontal cortex, the part that reasons and plans and makes conscious choices, did not get the memo in time. The neuroscience term for this is amygdala hijack. Your emotional brain fires faster than your thinking brain can respond. And in people who have spent years training that system in environments of relational threat, the trigger threshold is lower. It fires faster. It fires on smaller signals. It fires in rooms that are completely safe. And the body produces something else in that moment too. When you fawn, when you appease, there is often a small release of the stress hormone cortisol alongside a microdose of dopamine from the relief of having smoothed the situation over. Your body briefly rewards itself for the yes, which means the pattern is not just automatic. It is reinforced. Every time you say yes and the tension dissolves, your nervous system logs that as, "This worked. Do this again." You are not weak. You are conditioned. There is a significant difference. The goal here is not to suddenly become someone who says no to everything. The goal is to create enough space between the trigger and the response that you get to choose. That the yes or the no comes from you, not from a survival pattern that was written when you were small. Here is what actually works. The first is to name what is happening in the moment it is happening. Not analyze it, just name it. When you feel that tightening in your chest, that upward pressure, that pull toward yes before your mind has decided anything, say to yourself internally, "This is my nervous system responding." That single act of labeling activates the prefrontal cortex. It pulls your thinking brain back online. Research by Matthew Lieberman at UCLA found that simply naming what you are feeling measurably reduces amygdala activity. You are not suppressing anything. You are just slowing the automatic sequence down enough that you can be present in it. The second is to use a delay phrase, not an excuse, not an explanation, just a pause built into your language. Something like, "Let me think about that and get back to you," or "I want to give you a real answer, so give me a moment." This sounds small. It is not small. It creates a gap between the trigger and the response. And in that gap you exist. Your actual preferences exist. The pause is not avoidance. It is the recovery of your own agency. The third is to practice the physical reset before you respond. When you feel the fawn response activating, take one slow exhale before you speak, longer out than in. This activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the body's calm state, and directly counteracts the cortisol spike that is pushing you toward automatic appeasement. You are not calming down for the other person. You are giving your own nervous system a signal that you are safe enough to choose. The fourth is to understand that your discomfort with saying no is data, not instruction. The discomfort is real. The tightness is real. The fear-adjacent feeling is real. But discomfort is not the same as danger. Your body is telling you a story from a long time ago. You are allowed to hear the story without obeying it. That is not the same as ignoring your feelings. That is learning the difference between a feeling that is informing you and a feeling that is running you. If you made it this far, something in this connected with something you have been carrying for a long time. That is what this channel does. Every week, one more thing that was always there finally gets a name. Subscribe so you never miss it. You are in the middle of a conversation. Someone asks you something, and you feel it before the words arrive. That tightening, that pressure, that pull. But now you know what it is. It is not weakness. It is not who you are. It is a pattern your body built to keep you safe in a world that needed it too. That world is not where you are standing now. The yes that comes out of fear sounds exactly like the yes that comes from choice. But you know the difference now. You can feel the difference now. And slowly, one small pause at a time, one breath at a time, one moment of naming what is actually happening, that difference becomes a door. Your nervous system is not broken. It is just running an old program in a new life. You are allowed to update it.